I don't even know where to begin at this point. Okay, so if you've been following my YouTube channel or podcast for some time, then you know that over the past year, I've had one goal, and one goal only. I want to have The Rock on the show. It's an intentionally ridiculous, ambitious, and oddly specific dream. I want to prove to you what's possible with a big idea and a ton of determination. Also, I just think it would be really cool to get Dwayne Johnson on my podcast. I've been talking about it since I started the Ground Up Show. I do bring up The Rock in every podcast. I've been trying to get a hold of The Rock. He's not picking up. He's not answering my phone calls.
And who's this Matt dude?
I'm a nobody. You didn't have to wear a suit. I said it was casual. My first big break happened when I landed celebrity photographer Brian Bowen Smith as a guest. I found out on the show that not only has he worked with The Rock, but he also calls him a friend.
There'll be chances, you know, or things where you meet, like I'll tell him. I'll tell him.
What?
I'll tell him. That might be the catalyst. You don't know what little thing that you do is going to make a big difference in your life.
He then took a selfie and tagged The Rock on Instagram. And then 1 month later, we broke new ground. The Rock tweeted at me, and I kind of just lost my shit. No, this is weird. This is weird. I tweeted a picture reading his book. The Rock says, "I've always been a big advocate of making changes when you're unhappy. If you don't like your situation, do something about it." And he replied, "Wow, means a lot. I wrote that book when I was 27 years old and wasn't confident people would connect with my story. Wound up being #1 on the New York Times bestseller for weeks. Thanks, man, for finding some inspiration from it." And then 2 months after that, there was another tweet. I had posted another photo on Twitter about The Rock, specifically actually about that photo right there of the Rock that I have framed in my apartment. I said, "Yes, I still have a framed photo of The Rock on my wall. No, he hasn't yet returned my phone calls, but I'm not giving up." If you also want to see The Rock come on my podcast, go to gettherockonmattspodcast.com. And his reply, "My all-time fave pick. Thanks for the love, man. And that's because you keep calling me from a payphone and calling collect. Who the fuck does that anymore?" This is the second time The Rock has tweeted at me, and this time it's even bigger because the last time I didn't mention that I was trying to get him on my podcast, but this time I actually dropped the website domain. It took me a while, but I thought of a response. What can I say? Cash is tight. I don't have that leather fanny pack money. Done. Thousands of you have tweeted at The Rock in an attempt to get his attention and to get him to go to gettherockonmattspodcast.com. And I appreciate every single one of you. Now, he might not be able to do the podcast anytime soon. I know he's working on a movie. He's a busy guy. He's got a lot of stuff that he's doing. But there will be a time when he does press and he's ready to do interviews. And that's when we can make this happen.